Homologation rules for 69 were relaxed. Just 25 cars had to be shown, not 50 as before. In secret and in a big hurry, Piech forced a new 4.5-litre 12-cylinder model into production, the 917. The FIA duly inspected 25 cars at Zuffenhausen and pronounced them raceworthy.
It was actually slightly worse than anybody, I think, could have possibly imagined. The main problem was, of course, that we had the 908 at that time, and Piech was insistent we all got around to using the 917, which was a totally unsorted car. Anyway, we were forced into using it at Le Mans in 69 with Vic Elford, and there was another car with Stommelen and Arendt, I think.
A third 917, number 10, seen here in practice, was to be driven by Herbert Linger and John Wolf. Wolf later lost control on the first lap of the race and was killed. Having sorted out a scrutineer's objection to the mechanical aerofoil devices on the rear wings, the Porsche team, amongst them interested observer Steve McQueen, had high hopes. After an hour, Stommelen was temporarily in the pits with an oil leak, and Elford and Atwood took up the challenge. In fact, they then led the race from the 4th till the 21st hour.
I just felt that we should have won that race. In fact, the clutch did stop operating, but the gearbox was actually breaking in half and the whole thing was hanging down, and so, of course, we couldn't select gears. So that's why we did not finish.
A tremendous battle was then fought between Hans Hermann in a 908 Coupe and Jackie Ickx in the Ford GT40.
Dans le fond, la jeunesse, rien n'est impossible.
When you're young, nothing is impossible. Porsche had Hermann and Larousse in their team. I think they chose Hermann to finish the race for his experience. Maybe that was a mistake. And perhaps they should have chosen the younger man, as Larousse was at the time.
Comme Larousse à l'époque.
Ickx won by just 75 meters, the closest ever Le Mans finish between different makes.
The 917. What can you say about this car? Just the sound of the name or the sight of the car brings up the hackles on the back of your neck in excitement. A car which every driver during the early 1970s would love to have driven. Here we have the engine. It's a flat 12, air-cooled engine. Can you believe it? First time they produced a flat 12 engine. Has a fan down there in the middle. And I remember one day we're at the racetrack sitting in the pits and suddenly the fan just took off and went out to the bodywork. So let's take a look around here. This is the refueling system. In those days, they used to refuel the car with churns of fuel, and we actually sat in the fuel tank on the side of the car. Our knees were right up tight to the steering wheel, and our feet, believe it or not, were in front of the center line of the front wheels. We must have been crazy. I just can't believe that we used to do those sort of things. But of course, we weren't so conscious of safety then, and the chance to drive a Porsche 917 was paramount, and so you drove it even if it only had 3 wheels on it. This is it. This is the phenomenal 917. This is the car that I think is probably the car of the sports car era. Since the 1950s, this is the most unbelievable car. It's a car that probably meant more to me in my racing career. The first real sort of sophisticated sports car I ever drove. It's a flat 12, air-cooled engine, no turbochargers, just a nice straight flat 12 air-cooled engine. 4.5 litre depending on the year, and it was the main car for the 1970 and 71 series. Absolutely incredible to drive, very, very smooth, torquey engine, and even when I drive it today, it nearly brings tears to your eyes when you think about just what wonderful races and battles we used to have. People say, you don't have very good rear vision, do you? And you say, you didn't have to have rear vision because you're always in front. Well, we're giving it some stick now as we go on the straightaway. This car did 246 miles an hour at Le Mans. Only doing about 160 now. Absolutely outstanding little car. Hear that flat 12 engine go. Absolutely beautiful. These are moments to savor for any driver that drove in the early 70s. Quite a wonderful car, something none of us will ever forget.